Why do so many people grow irritable and cynical as they age instead of finding peace and fulfillment? And how can you avoid the same fate as many of our parents? In this short video, I'll explain why it happens and the one thing you can do to ensure it doesn't happen to you. The truth is, people enjoy life less as they age, not because the world changes, but because they never truly adapt to the deeper demands approaching the middle passage brings. You see, deep down, your parents aren't really mad at immigrants or angry with governments. They're angry and confused because the ladder they suffered and sacrificed to climb didn't lead them where they thought it would. And if you're like most people over the age of 35, there's probably a part of you that feels this way too, wishing life felt deeper and more peaceful than it actually does. Now, the good news is this part of you asking, is this it? Isn't a sign of malfunction. It's actually a sign of maturation. You are sensing something's off because you've already succeeded at the first game of adulthood, which consists of accumulating more money, comfort, and social status. Now, earning these attributes means you get to graduate from this game, which is built on control, hustle, and force. And you then buy a ticket to the second game of life, making your inner life feel as good as your outer one looks. Let me show you what I mean by way of an analogy. Remember the cool kids at school? For boys, being on the football first 11 gave you status. Now, I made that team, and something interesting happened to many of my teammates right after we left school. Their lives got way worse quickly. Why? Because at 17, they thought they'd already made it. They'd ascended the teenage hierarchy of athleticism and attitude. But then, when they were thrown into the adult world, they discovered that it plays by different rules. Yet, many never saw the new game coming, and others simply chose not to adapt. They kept playing the old game for too long in a new world that quite suddenly began to reward something else entirely. Now, if you're a high performer, you've done a much better job adjusting to that transition by definition. You've succeeded at the first game of adulthood, career success. So now you're living the grown-up version of being cool at school. And for a while, getting paid, getting status, and pursuing extrinsically derived pleasure is thrilling, no doubt. But here's the problem. More success in these domains becomes a marginal gain strategy by the age of about 40. And here's the catch. You can't win the game of the second half of life using the same software that won you the first. Because this game isn't about sharper logic. It's about activating a different kind of intelligence altogether, your intuition. This is the insistent voice whispering, there must be more to life than this, and the cause of the dis-ease you feel. This uncomfortable feeling of not enoughness is not something to be medicated or avoided. It's your signal to begin the quest to find the missing piece of the puzzle that solves the second half of life. If you succeed at this, then what you get is an inner compass tuned to guide you toward precisely the kind of feelings you want to feel. And that's because intuition is fueled by purpose, it's guided by meaning, and what it feels like is flow. It's the doorway to those forgotten states that come in such supply as we approach the midlife threshold. Feelings like joy, awe, and wonder. Now, the alternative is you can choose to keep living solely in your head, in which case none of this becomes available to you. Because here's the thing, these are not intellectual states. They can't be achieved by force, only received with flow. And becoming receptive to intuitive guidance begins by paying attention to the moments that make you feel alive. So here's what I recommend you do today. Understand that excitement is the signal your inner compass operates. Learn to become aware of what you're doing and who you're with when you feel most alive. Then simply seek more of that. This then is the work of the second half of life. Not to push harder, but to tune in. Because whether you like it or not, at midlife, the rules change. And just like the transition from school to career, the shift is subtle on the surface, but the paradigm change is profound. And this one question, above all else, will determine the destiny of your life from here on out. Will you connect with your intuition, or bet that logic alone is going to finally make you feel fulfilled? If you're winning at work but feel like something deeper, and if you're ready to explore what the second game of life might look like, you'll find your next step at resonance.global. As always, your likes, comments, and shares and your appreciation are much appreciated. Thank you.